What's up, fellow pilots? It's Caleb here from Air 101. Have you ever wondered what would happen if there was an aircraft that you had to look after, and while you were looking after it, it got destroyed? Well, let's talk about it. If you are a hangar owner, or own an aircraft maintenance shop, or have an avionics shop, or you are just looking after someone else's aircraft, then you need to know what Hangarkeepers Liability is and how it can help protect you when you have somebody else's aircraft in your care, custody, and control. And while you're looking after this aircraft, it gets damaged or destroyed. I want to read what one aviation insurance company says about this coverage in their policy wording. Please note that, of course, this wording varies from insurance company to insurance company, and of course there are some exclusions on this type of coverage. That is why it's always best if you just give your aviation insurance broker a call if you have any questions about this type of coverage. Hangarkeepers Liability. This is what this policy says. This section covers loss of or damage to aircraft or aircraft equipment not owned, rented, or leased by the insured while on the ground in the care, custody, or control of, or while being serviced, handled, or maintained by the insured or any employee of the insured. Here's a couple of examples to help you understand this wording a little bit better and how this type of coverage could potentially protect you. If you are a hangar owner and you have aircraft that are in your hangar that you do not own but yet are in your care, custody, and control, then you might need this type of coverage. Because, for example, one day if you're moving one of those aircraft and it gets damaged, then this coverage might protect you in this type of situation. Or if your hangar was to collapse and destroy that aircraft, this is where you would really want to have Hangarkeepers Liability coverage. If you own an aircraft maintenance shop and while you have an aircraft in the shop, you drop a tool on the windshield and cause like a $20,000 loss, then this type of coverage would potentially cover you and either fix the windshield or replace the windshield. If you have an avionics shop and you damage an aircraft when you're trying to step into the aircraft, or you drop some of your equipment on the wing of the aircraft and damage it, then this type of coverage would potentially protect you in this situation. These are just a couple of examples of individuals who might need Hangarkeepers Liability coverage, and how having this coverage could potentially protect you in the event of a loss. Please note that in any of these situations, if you have an aircraft that is in your care, custody, and control, make sure that the individual who owns the aircraft also has all risk flight and ground coverage. But here's the thing that I really want to discuss about Hangarkeepers Liability coverage. Although you may purchase Hangarkeepers Liability, if a loss was to happen, you don't want to instantly assume that it is your fault. You have to leave that up to your insurance company who provides the Hangarkeepers Liability coverage, as well as the aircraft owner's insurance company, and let them decide who needs to pay for the loss. Now, in most cases, this is what will usually happen if there was a loss to an individual that owned an aircraft. If they purchased all risk flight and ground coverage, then the insurance company is going to try to either fix the aircraft or replace the aircraft for that individual. Then afterwards, they're going to subrogate against either the hangar owner, aircraft maintenance shop, or avionics shop who had the aircraft in their care, custody, and control to try and recoup their money. This is what the insurance company that is insuring the aircraft may do in this type of a situation. In saying all of this, this is another reason why if you have an aircraft in your care, custody, and control, that you don't want to automatically assume that it is your fault if a loss happens. Let's imagine that you're an aircraft hangar owner and you have aircraft in your care, custody, and control. And one day a client comes up to you, somebody's aircraft that you look after that's in your care, custody, and control, and they say that their aircraft got damaged while you were looking after it. And they say that it is your fault. Well, in saying that, does the aircraft owner have a camera that proves that it is your fault? Or as the aircraft hangar owner, do you have a camera that's in your hangar that proves that it is your fault? Maybe the aircraft got damaged when the pilot was flying at a different airport and just didn't notice it until after the aircraft was put back in the hangar. That is why it's best to leave it up to the insurance company that is providing you Hangarkeepers Liability coverage, as well as the insurance company that is providing the aircraft owner all risk flight and ground coverage. because they will need to do a thorough investigation to decide who needs to pay for what. That is why you do not want to assume automatically that it is your fault. That is why it's best you just need to leave it up to the aviation insurance companies. That's why it's important that both parties have their needed coverage. For example, the aircraft hangar owner, aircraft maintenance shop, avionics shop, etc. needs to have hangar keepers liability coverage, as well as the aircraft owner should have all risk flight and ground coverage. I hope that you learned something today about hangar keepers liability coverage, but please note there are extra extensions that this coverage can provide. For example, if you're looking after an individual's aircraft engine, propeller, etc. And also there's in-flight hangar keepers liability. If you are an aircraft mechanic and after you do work on the aircraft, you need to take it up for a test flight to make sure that it is okay. Well, then you might need this type of coverage. But we are going to talk about all that in a future video. Stay up to date with your coverage, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.